Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
Here comes the core connector. And what level of integration it is first, second, third in the beginning of integration. I told you there are three levels of integrations. It's a second level integration first level. What is first level? Integration EIB. EIB is further divided into two options. One is your inbound and another one is your outbound. Approximately 65% organizations are using inbound. When you say When you look for the job descriptions, you will see people must be aware. Candidate must be proficient in inbound EIB, OEIB, or in condition. In that job descriptions, they will ask you the overall experience in inbound EIB. When they ask you overall experience in inbound EIB, tell them I have 1 year of experience in inbound EIB. It's very simple, straightforward operation. Nothing requires at all. You just have to be proactive on manipulating the errors. Nothing else. Processing of the file remains same. You have reference ID for you to help. And again, I've told you, you need to focus on row number 3, 4, 5. This will help give you a lot of data in the template itself. What to look for, where to look for, read. You see here 3. These are restrictions these are required or optional. Sometimes you have to type optional thing as here. Then this is what format the spreadsheet is looking for. What is looking for? This is text format, no specified format required. This is employee ID. Employee ID based on your organization setup if it is 5 digit. Added 5 digit. If it is 6 digit, added 6 digit. Of the organizations are following. A standard ID generation is 6 digit and all numeric. There are few organizations, Cola. They are using alphanumeric, I think. Yes, one and one. One or two organizations have more. In my understanding, that uses an alphanumeric. US technology also using alphanumeric ID. And then you have your format and it is required. You have to populate. If you don't populate in this format, Workday will generate error. If you don't type the setup ID format, Workday will generate error. If you miss any sequence, Workday will generate error. One more understanding point for you. Workday reads the data from here to this way. From this way to this way. It starts reading the data this till here, which says what direction it is. Left, left. We are starting with the left and then going ahead with the Workday starts learning or identifying the data from here. If you don't put sequence ID here, Workday provide an error then and there. It won't read next rows. It's it. Basically learning for you. If you have an error here and you have error here and here as What do you populate? First error here, then next time you correct it, this one it will populate error here as then here it as it reads from left to. If it encounters error here only, it won't give you the details because it is not reached there yet. It is still here. Got my point? This is similar to Excel to CI in PeopleSoft. They have used in Workday. Basically, Workday is a product of the PeopleSoft, outcome of PeopleSoft, not an exact direct product. It's outcome of PeopleSoft, the executives and the chief architects of the PeopleSoft and chief engineers of the PeopleSoft have created Workday. It's a David Duffield and Anil Boschit, because this is similar to what we do in PeopleSoft Excel to CI. Component interface in PeopleSoft. They are I think it is Anil or Anil. Pardon my spelling. They are the Coin primary builder of Workday in 2005. This I think covered in the demo classes 5, 6. I provided a description about this. They have created it here, and the very first version created was for finance, not HR. They were facing heavy issues in the finance transactions, and PeopleSoft was more focused on finance rather than HR. Their update release happens more frequently in finance than HR. I worked in HR as in this PeopleSoft. I know the pain of PeopleSoft. I can relate the easiness and convenient UI of Workday comparing to PeopleSoft. Then in 2008, 7, 8, 8, 9 basically, they made it for corporate, and I believe Cognizant or something that. I think Cognizant was the first company who come into the partnership with Workday as Workday partner company in 2010. Accenture to 10, legit Accenture becomes the Workday partner company. Since then, Accenture is the highest you can say in terms of headcount and projects. Highest number of clients and projects, heading and company that makes him number one company in the world in terms of Workday partner. Every year they have approximately 10,000 projects with them. It is one of the largest and biggest company to start your career with in terms of Workday. And they will align some of the functions to you. In which way? There are approximately 66 Workday partner companies. As I've now started with just 4. Started with just 1 in the Cognizant. And Big 4 comes later on after the Cognizant, Deloitte and Accenture. This is also. Collaborative solution is one of the entity of the Cognizant. Similarly, Accenture also have some of the entities. Deloitte also have some entities that are completely working for the work. Only deployment and AMS support and client support, all these functions. These are general information which I provide during the demo of the Workday. I was referring to these fields and somehow PeopleSoft information appears and I went into that direction. Sorry for that. But again, you have to provide the definitions, details in a proper format. and all format functions are available in reference ID, just have to copy. Paste the reference ID, and that copy paste must be in an inner format that there should not be any single space. Come back to the previous topic, which is core connector. Why do we need core connector? We have already is build system, which is AIB, and that is working fine, easy to configure, easy to edit, easy to change. Template models, easy to refresh. Why do we need core? And connector, and what is core connector? Any idea? Break the two words and then try to define it. Any random idea, anything, any statement. It's not a win or lose situation. It's a more complex to build more complex interface integrations which are not possible by EID inbound and outbound ID. Yes, absolutely. You see, you have to say something and it could be your winning statement. It could be otherwise as gratitude, but it could be a winning statement, but you have to say something. Vaishnavi, anything, make any point from Bharat's statement. What is core and how do you connect it with the any function? With the word connector, we know that something to connect, where to connect. Do we need any sort of connecting point in our bond EI? Are we connecting our Workday data to the external source? If we outsourcing a third person for payroll, are we using co-conductor for that? Yes, we are using the co-connector for third-party applications, third-party services. Cornerstone is one of the application that is used for learning and development. Totora is also one of the application. There are hundreds of applications which is working on learning and development. There is numerous applications which is working on talent performance, talent acquisition team. Not all organizations are leveraging the services provided by Workday. Two reasons are there. One, they are used to of their conventional ways. Second, Workday modules are costlier than other softwares. The amount of number of dollars they invest, the amount of dollars they invest on module purchase for talent and acquisition. In the same amount they will process, they will purchase any other applications along with. Their 5-year, 10-year agreement of services, what is somewhat costlier in terms of budgeting, but it provides a next level service that all other software developers, service providers are somewhere not able to compete with Workday, including SAP. Core connector basically used to collect all sort of data related to one for the one specific function and deliver the relevant data in just one single integration. What you do in the OB, you have to prepare at least 10 different files, including 10 different object and data source, and you have to define their frequencies in a sequential manner, and you have to keep an eye on all those frequencies settled. You have to do the audit of all these integrations one by one. It's a painstaking task to check the audit trail, to monitor the 10 different frequencies that 241 function. For example, you have a system learning and development. You want to integrate one level of data for just work hard file. In worker file, you have what is the function. Type of data you can imagine in worker file are personal details, all three columns. Their name, naming convention, all these detail, legal name, preferred name, then personal information, all these details, then their IDs and their document sections, they're all IDs, and then you have your contact information. This also comes into the personal detail. You have your contact details, you have your emergency contact details, then you have your job related values, you have your job. Detail your position, detail your email address, your phone number, your work at, your home address, your hire date, and then your career details all. These comes into the personal or worker details. Into the worker detail, you have your organization detail, you have your some of the data of the absence, as all these details are nothing but what is it worker? Details that all these software is required in a very basic manner in order to create an integration, create a file, or in the learning and development template or software, you have to be have a very basic detail of an employee working in an organization, and in order to execute that indication you need to create at least 3 4. You cannot use one data source to extract all details. Sometimes you have to use worker personal data. Sometimes you have to use the job organization's specific data. Sometimes you have to use all other data. Even if you use 3 different data sources, you are about to create 3 different files, scheduling it in 3 different ranges, monitoring all 3 files on monthly and quarterly basis. Is it an easy task or what? It seems an easy task. Yes, actually, it is an easy task, monitoring 3 different frequencies. Comparing to just monitoring one frequency, one audit. Understand that more to create an integration. Here comes the core connector, the second level of integration. Instead of setting up frequency, setting up report for 3, 4, or 5 different reports for one type of data. We create a core connector integration that collects approximately 15 type of data, 15-16 type of different data related to worker. Profile, what it relates your employee profiles, it relates your basically it creates your profile photo section, it creates a job details, it creates your worker details, home profile, address, the contact details, and all other details which is required to create a worker profile. And it happens in sequential manner that one file will include 100 records for the same set of data. Let's say you want to integrate the profile photo only of 300 workers. You create one report, worker data, employee ID, worker name, and profile photo, one report is there. Then you want to integrate the work profile of that person. You create another, work email address and home email address of that same person. Set of 300, you create another report. You just add worker details, worker ID name, home email, and work email. Second report, and there are 13 true. More reports based on the 13 different functions in the core connector. What you need to do is basically select the set of template which automatically holds all level of information, and that you want to integrate with the or that you want to supply the set of data to different. Application or person, for that we create naming convention here. CFCC stands for core. Connector worker, data 8030 is our unique name. PM new using template. The type worker, we have core connector worker. It's a very basic template for a new come out to understand the core connector functionality when you opt any benefit. What are the steps there and what all things are involved in that benefit selection. Organizations are providing benefits and you are opting your insurance, your medical, dental, vision. If you are in US region, and if not, then at least in health insurance is there. Organization as gives you functionality to add your dependents. Organization gives you functionality to select copay payment plan, any other additional plan if you want to otherwise. Default plan is there. There are a lot of data. All this data needs to be integrated to. Benefit service provider as you are just selecting in the Workday a tenant, but that information has to be passed to a service provider as that they can keep the details extracted from Workday to store in their TPA system. And accordingly, in emergency case, they just have to find you by your employee ID and your organization ID, and then all details will appear in their system. And they will start working on the emergency requirement. Is it the process in every organization? You join an organization, you select the benefit plans. HR partner okays on that plans. Approvals provided on benefit operations. Admin provides approval. Then those approvals, transactions approved on the system. And these transactions further integrate into the benefit operator, the TPA third-party application. All these values need to be populated in order to create your benefit plan in third-party application system. What are these? This I'm just talking about for the worker profile. There is another template, integration template, that says benefit. There is another integration template that says the payroll. There is another integration template that says, and every time you integrate a specific template, the behavior of the integration services change. Keep changing and it becomes a bit of complexity there. This is very basic data. You can say foundational template to understand the core connector. Consider these as a single file. Now tell me in outbound system if you have to create 28 different, leave this one. And yes, leave this one and this one launched it, parameter and integration, map integration. Map 1, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Leave these 6 fields and then tell me if it is convenient, feasible, easy to monitor. 22 different files and executing 22 different outbound integrations and doing the audit. Trails and doing all sort of service assistance to 22 different templates or just adding all these into just one template and monitoring the one service. And that is why the core connector is there in picture. It allows us, and this is a very first phase. You scroll down, you see here integration system services. These are custom integration if you are not willing to accommodate your data based on this integration service provided here. You can create your own integration system service here. That is bit of technical and high level that you don't require to learn here. First, you have to have a very basic understanding of this, and then you can do playing with this data. Sandbox is your best tenant when you join an organization. Once you join the organization, keep playing with these things only on Friday. Post second shift, half of the second shift. Why I said post half of the second shift? Because Friday evening is a Friday. Evening PST time 11:59 is the time for the refresh. Saturday by Saturday, morning or evening you have your integrations created will be wiped out from the system and all the production data copied over. Come back to this. If you need, have option to enable, which means whether you want our CSV option to be enabled or not. Yes, we want to have this option enabled by default. The file will be generated in XML, but we have option of CSV, worker file name sequence generated. Do you want to generate sequence multiple files into a sequence generator format? Yes. Do you want worker transaction log service? Yes, it basically generates a log having workers different set of transactions aligned with different entries in the notepad kind of function. Do you want leave of absence data section field for worker? Yes, we want that to be generated and to be extracted. Do you want contract details? Contract details when he joined. What is the FTE? What is their contract and details, whether it is renewable or not, and or related details. Do you want position data section field? Yes, we want position data section field to be run in the integration. Do you want workers or status data fields? All you need to do is just click on here whether to enable or not worker personal data section. All the fields I showed to you on the different screen, then worker profile photo. Do you want to copy the worker profile photo to next integration system? Yes. Do you want integration document retention? Yes, we want. We want this integration document to be deleted after certain days. All the frequency is 1 day, 5 days, at 10, and there are some other fixed frequencies. Do you want worker compensation data field? Yes. We want to compensation data section field composition, grade range profile. All sort of data will be moved to the requesting integration file. Worker identification date ID related data, worker related personal data, and qualification, don't want qualification, transaction log data section, don't want it. These are we have selected approximately 12 data field template, different field. Of, you can say integration service, you can say different subtemplates in this worker. Data, although you have option to enable all as. This says that the integration attributes based on the services you selected. We selected 20. Items, few are by default selected. Few we have selected wherever you see optional. These are by default select. These are the values we have selected and these are already enabled. Integration map data launch ESP invocation. This is primary service to invoke this entire integration. This error is a sign that we are on a path. Track if this error is not coming up, which means there is some issue in the integration. Edit tenant setup. Integration setup or any other issue, you have to check the tenant setup for. And you have to check your integration services. all this basically first. Basically, you have to check with the security. If you are not able to find the template or integration service task, then you have to find the securities. Whether you are added, your role group is added as a part of integration admin or not. Then refer the error. The error says there are integration attributes enabled for this integration system. And these are the integration attributes. There are approximately 39 attributes enabled with the help of integration service that are marked as required for launch. These are marked as required for launch. RKD is required for launch. We need some sort of modification here in order to avoid this error. Sorry to resolve this error, but do not have a value assigned to them. If you just click out and you see, values are not assigned to here. All values are either default or blank. The document retention default value. And person related person type, identification type. This we have selected. Organization type we have selected. That phone type, this comes with the person type into the personal data. Then output is default and country ISO code, again 2 alphanumeric. Or 3 alphanumeric, 2 alphanumeric India becomes IN, 3 alphanumeric code India becomes IND. It is telling us that you have to provide some options here and value here attribute. Value. How to do that? The error is further getting us path as system as getting. As aligned to the system, please use related menu. Integration system. Then configure integration attributes where it is asking us to go. Integration system. Configure integration attribute to complete the configuration attribute. Let's go to the path system is telling us go to core. Connector related action is to a refresh. It's taking some time. Any questions? One question I have Akshay menu navigation. Can we use that same menu navigation and then try to go to that path? Yes, we are using that. No, but we are using that. We are in the related action. It is gave from the home menu. No, it is asking us to go to the related menu item or related menu. Got it, got it. Thank you. It says please use the related menu. This is related menu item, related actions or related menu item, integration system, and then configure integration attributes. This is what it is asking us. Moment you open this, you see 3 integration attributes here. What are 3 worker integration configuration? CSP options and integration document retention under these 3. You have 39 values, 2 are important. 1, that is a CSV option if you want to change anything. You can either select this checkbox to override default values or click on press plus icon. First of all, output file name. By default, it must be populated with a valid file name. It says assign the name to the output file. If you enable the file name sequence generator, leave this value empty. Otherwise, it must be populated with a valid file name. We have opted for the sequence generator. Even I don't remember. Yes, I think we have opted for the sequence generator. We will leave this Workday. Will automatically do the naming convention. Version required for launch. Yes, we need it. Options says whether it is options required for launch. One thing to note here in the version. This version and the version of EIBs are not same. Both the integration having basically running on their own versions. They have no direct relation with each other. EIB integration is currently running on 44th version and this is the Workday's version. This integration is basically running on Workday's version, which is 48th one. And any integration that you run 17 or less CSV will be supporting. Any integration that you are running 18 or more, Yes, any integration that you're running 18 or more CSV won't support. You will have an error even if you run version 40 here and specify the format of the file to be generated by the integration to over at this value and change the file output to CSV. Now remember, during the integration launch this, we will face an error. Then include inactive workers. Do you want inactive workers in a full file? No, we don't want inactive workers. Name type includes selected name type in the output. Applicable for version 17 and above, legal name. Currently it's a legal name. Preferred name function wherever you have chain selection. That means you have predefined functions. You don't have option to provide a text format anything. What you need is formal legal name, maiden name, other name, preferred name. We need legal name and legal name only. Country ISO code. Instead of 2 alphanumeric, we want 3 alphanumeric. We want us to be represented, USA Australia to be represented, a US India to be represented. Address type. Include a primary address for the selected address type in the output file. Applicable for version 17 and above. What sort of address you want? Whether work address, whether home address, whether both or any other address shipping address or the business address, institutional address. We want home as work. Then you want address usage. We don't want include private addresses. Do you want a private address? No, include non-primary address for phone number format. What is the phone number that you want to have in a format type? What is phone type? We want home and work both, or we just be. Based on your selection. This is second phase of working on an integration. First phase is to create an integration and enabling the integration services. Now we are enabling the integration attribute of the integration services. We want work email by default. Organization type, specify the type of organization that is used to select the organization field. In the output, the field must also be enabled in the position data field service. We have some position data field service as maybe down the line. Thank you. Include terminated and transferred worker from restricted security option. No, we don't want include multiple supervisory or supervisors if selected output will include multiple supervisors if applicable. If any person having more than one supervisory organizations, managers or any supervisory organizations having more than one managers, their record will be populated. Job type, again applicable for version 25 and above, the field primary position and internal. Assignment in the position data section reflects types of position returned. What is a job type here? If you want to add it. Otherwise, leave it based on generate multiple output file. Do you want multiple output file or you do want single output file? We want single output file. CSP. Did we select CSP option here? What is there in the CSP option? Show headers. And always quote values, leave it blank. Document integration retention, integration document retention after 30 days or just 10 days or 5 days. You want 10 days only? You see the document retention is not of text field. It is a pre-default values 1 day, 10 day, 20 day, 180, 35, 60 and 90. We will select 10 days. This is all about this select. Now our error has gone. We can avoid this alert. It's not that unimportant too. Configure after integration attribute. We have integration map that is created it. It is telling us core connector integration map worker. It will work on all these functions name, type, title, gender, marital status, religion, disability, and there are approximately 56 items which this integration will throw from Workday to the next system supporting to it or in the file. Integration map foundation job. You have basically option of configure integration map as if you wanted to provide any default value, any exceptions, you can do that as mostly we don't perform this action. Next is we have to define a business process. A function that are related to multiple events are primarily tagged to a business process. This is also require a business process. Before that, you have to go here for into configure integration field attributes. I think this we have recently completed field attributes. This we have recently completed. No, this we have not completed. It is telling us about the options we selected and about the configure integration. Field attribute, file name do you want to include in the output? Yes. Image, do you want the image? File content is base64 binary format. Technical persons are aware about the base 64 binary format. Maximum length for this option. Option for the field will have no impact. Image. There are other sections, as if you populate all these, it will take a lot of time. Name format is there that selects worker personal details. You can further define the and configure that if the set of fields that will include in the personal data section output file with a tick in the include in output column will be included in the output file. Required file in maximum length column provide the control over the validation rule. This allows you to look for the next system. What is the maximum length? Length the end user or the end system is compatible with. Accordingly, you can configure the value here. For example, in compensation table of PeopleSoft, for housing allowance, you have to type a double AO that says all house HRA functions. Similarly, you need to type base pay for basic salary, and there are few codes I don't remember. Everything. It's been more than 5 years while working in the PS. Basically, codes are there. If you provide the naming convention maximum length here, it will automatically translate into the same format, and otherwise the base, the default. Naming convention remains same and the proper value will be integrated. You might be aware. Of the function that some softwares keep a name length character limit. I hope you have come across any function. The name must not exceed to 50 characters or 70 characters, any not any asterisk mark, any note appears on some of the softwares. That is something based on here. If you provide a maximum length, the naming convention will be limited to that length. We don't go that detail. You have option to go and explore all these fields. It is nothing but further modifying the fields you have already selected in previously. We just enable profile photo function. Next is we have to define a business. Process on which the integration starts or launch. Integration can work, and again you have to go to business process to define the business process. Create copy or link definition for the business process. This is the CC CFCC worker data at 30 p.m. is your business object. You don't need to select any value here. Integration system becomes your BO, and a step will be added, which is fire integration that you required. You don't have to do any function. Just click on the business process and click on the click and create on new business process and click. This is your business was just configured. We have our integration created. That's it. We don't need any other function to perform. You have your integration attribute, you have your integration map, and you have your business process as. Now it's time to run the integration. Thank you. In first a refresher file before running the integration. Go to integration, click on launch, integration, name remains same frequency. Run now. It is asking for the default values, date launch parameter, worker integration configuration. Since it is first time we are launching this, today's date and time is coming up here. And it's a PSD time. Bharat, you can confirm it is 8:16 am 16 seconds. And today's state, and the next time you run the integration, this state will be here. Date and time, and the next date when you run the integration will be here. You have to basically match between this date format comes when you are running any payroll related information, any data to payroll that you match with the last run and current run. If there is a gap between last run and current run, then it is basically sometime people have ran the integration in between because of XYZ reason. What? The processing says you have to, the process in the organization says you have to take a snapshot of this while running the integration that you have your last date and current date would be able to match to the next integration run. You take out the snapshot and you match it with the value here. If any misalignment comes with the picture snapshot and the integration, then you must investigate in the view integration event who ran the integration previously. That's a different thing. Full name, yes, full file. We want full file. Restrict result by organization. Sorry, result by organization, whether yes or no. If you provide any organization, extract workers only for the specified organization and all subordinate. We don't want any specified organizations. Here, extract only specified workers. We also don't want any specified worker. We want the entire headcount available for this integration. Now it is executing. We will wait to see if any error appears or not. We're hopeful to have one error. There will be another service completed with error. Message any output format other than XML is not supported when version is 17 or above. This is one integration field. Override eligibility criterion in integration service defined eligibility has no field definition. This is something new. Integration field override configure integration field over. We will understand the first. First come first. This is first and this is second. You have to go to your integration again. Click on related action. What the XML format error is all about. And the second integration about is about this. Error is about this configure integration field override field attributes. Either you select the 17 or less version. Oh, sorry, not in this little attribute. Select back. Indication event. Turning to slow today, either we select 17 or less version for CSV or we select an XML file. Let's try, we have enough time. Let's try version 16. What happens when we select version 16? This is one option. And what is second option? Feel over it. Used to determine whether a worker is eligible for an inclusion in the integration output, the file. The field should be written Boolean value in the selection list any stroke. Category, the field should return a Boolean value. Bolded value comes in the global field only. Boolean is nothing but providing a logical relation between the requirement. Current worker is information administrator current. Point 1 Boolean prompted on skill set. Let's select any is true for the time being. External parameter assignment. Run the integration. I am not sure what happens when we select 16 or less, 17 or less integration level. You see the last successful of an entry moment or last successful effective date. Although it is completed with errors, but still we have a last run here. The time is changed since we are running after 6, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Date to be same. This running, we are now hopeful to have a file with us in the output file. Complete. Processing 20-second ESPN location. We are now getting files. And these are message audit. Should be having a file naming convention completed. 16 files generated. This is output SASV deliverable. 3B must be having some data. No. What is this message? All up on 1066B. A get worker. This is Logan McNeil. Yes, Logan McNeil. Workday integration field name, user ID, worker ID, local name, and Workday. Workday ID type. It's a naming convention of the employee. What? The next file is all about. What it says. Kelly Croft. It's just generating one type of file. It should generate all 250 files here. Although all are unique, get worker. Let's select 250. Register. Having reasonable details, employee ID and name of the employee. Should be having more data. 13.1 integration system launch values get. Current work and request. True, this is our description. Effective date ran on. Poor. This is the last. Runtime, date and time integration system. The first file is telling us about the integration audit system. What is diagnostic HCM worker? Details 3221. Workers as of now having their mission. Worker is eligible for inclusion in the output. The worker information has been included in the output document, and this is message audit. This is output document. This is basically extraction of the file based on the setup we had there, and functions we enable. We will have our file as you go through the different options of the attributes fields. You will have your options there. We will modify the template to have the file in a different format. It's not enough. Get back to the integration again. Let's change the versions from 16 to 40 and from CSV to XML. Similarly, there is another core connector that says benefit. Same set of configuration required. All you have to do is select the integration service to be on. what all services you need in order to execute for the attribute field and different functions. Then you have to configure the integration attribute and then configure optional field, override field, and then you have to click on the business process to tag it to a defined business process. And then you have to run the integration. This is all about the core connector. Version 40, the latest version 40, and remove the row. By default, it will be XML file. Any other detail to add? We have also selected Savvy now. No, that we have removed. In the second attribute as which one? The second attribute from here we have deselected, but if you scroll down there is also an option of CSV now. Oh yes, good point. Generate multiple output file. You can define these things as include multiple positions, job type, use transaction log file, include multiple supervisors to generate more details. Now we run the integration again. We've made some changes. The use of core connector is very least project they need. Basically, they need it for payroll integration if HRs are not forwarding the files at all, and if the OB is not utilized as part of file sharing with payroll vendors. In that case, a core connector is in use there. Second benefits. Again, if HRs are not sharing the details of newly joined who have opted, who have changed the benefit election on open enrollment, open window, then they share the file. This option says if you take this option. This means whether they have their or any change in the field or not, they will generate the integration will generate the full file. If you uncheck it, only the change record will fetch into the file. Those who are there without having any change, they will not generate it. They will not execute it in that file. For first-time integration, always check if any new setup is created there to have a record of all employees. And going forward, when you start scheduling it, uncheck that. Only the changed values will move to the integration via integration to the next system or next file generation. Let's say Vashti has selected for co-payment in their benefit. It is a change to the existing values. Let's say Bharat has change organization assignment completed and he is now supporting to finance. This is again a change in the worker details and Let's say Arjun was there in leads level role, now has been promoted to senior manager role. Again, it is a change in the data. If you uncheck that option, the data with change will flow. If you check that option, data without change and with change, both will flow. Let's say I have been into the system. I don't see any of the change in the past system 1 or 2 weeks or 2 years. If you check that, even my data with every month, every integration will flow to the system, which is needless. I think we will be having a lot of files now. 10 message. Identifying a region eligibility for 3 2T21 workers, the same message which we see here in the diagnostic audit. You can see the process history of this. Integration, last 5 included. You can click on this all integration and completed with errors, completed processing. Let it. Thank you. Hey, the magic number. Finally completed. We have 17 files with us, including diagnostic one. Let's see. What is there in the worker file? What is XST? Any idea about? I don't have a license. How do you open it? Akshay, is it the file with the pipelines? We have a file generated XML. Can it be changed to CSV? By doing a living convention. XST is XML file format. Maybe you can copy another copy and maybe try it. In case the file doesn't file, output is, which format was it? Original was XML. XML will be only XML. No, it cannot be changed to CIF. My bad, we will do it back to it. This is the original file extension. We can even go by one to the message audit. You can open it here. This is the same which is there here. Is the same file. It's a 55 MB file. It has all the data which we've been extracting through the 5-10 minutes window. Let's see to open any other. File message audit 2.1, what it says 11 MB, it has basically a 11 generating. All data about this employee, Kelly Crawford, it's a PNG, basically demo file. I believe the image of this employee as a photo where we remember we have added profile photo. This is a naming convention. It's basically coding of that photo, I believe, index email, and this is the employee ID and worker details. Section is there. It's a K Crawford. Is their user ID, which is there in the edit user ID. Sorry, edit work to account or view work to account. User ID is required to log in through Workday. Then I'm not a good XML reader. But this is what the file generates about. And you see in the size, every worker has something as a profile photo kind of thing, which is why it is generated in that length. Any idea why it is that? Lengthen the, having the file size but not having that of data. You guys are trying technical. It's storing the image, that's why. Sorry, what image? Image file is being stored in XML, it's decoding. And we don't have the photo function here, photo ID here reference. Those it carrying the profile photo of that person. It's just this is the basically the extraction. Sorry, the core connector regarding this. All employees are here and their details being extracted to the file. I am sure that receiving party is having XML editor with them to extract the details. These are 986 byte size. Something with very less data, worker ID, employee ID is 23560, Suresh Kumar. Creation file, iteration of define eligibility criteria of the ID is yes. Y is eligible, all about I'm sure they must have some XML to decode. That value against each file, that is what they do. This is the major file. Having all the values in one file and it's a wanted in. Sorry, it's a 55 MB file. We are not able to open it here. What is it? Can we change it through view to vertical instead of horizontal? Or you can open it in Edge. You can open in Edge. Edge. Thank you. We are aware of the process of executing the core connector and to read the files we should have. Of course, organizations are dealing with the software which is required to perform the XML reading and execution of data extraction. This is the process. You don't have to worry about the file thing reading you. Don't you have to just take care of the details that requires to set up the core connector, and that requires to see the frequencies and any challenges in between running the integration and sending the file. Reading the file is receiver or recipient's headache. We are aware of the process, what all fields you can think of, what all functions you can think of it is mentioned here in the integration system. Any question in running the setting up the core connector and running the core connector. Leave the file reading aside. You can go ahead and perform different functions. Based on the options we have, explore more options by going to integration. Everything you find here in this. You can even go for the configure integration sequence. Generator, you can configure integration service. This one to select multiple things. You can maintain launch parameters. What all? Information. It will last. It will ask during the launch parameters. You can see the view integration. Field override, you can configure integration field override, field attribute, field map notification. These are main things: attribute, field, attribute, and field overrides, and then again integration service through integration 1, 2, 3, 4 to take care of any of the core connector, and again once. You generate the core connector, you have to align it with their business process. Integration can be invoked or a launch can be proceeded. Now, what is the difference between Core Connector and Cloud Connect? Core connectors for general data, for all base information, for worker details and cloud. Connect are what you say template-based connectors for benefits you have if you have a benefit for particular insurance company only. You create for that, you need to create a configuration for that in this Workday integration or Workday setup and then build. Try to build a connector with. That integration, it's essentially for the third party one's bank file. Yes. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.